Welcome to the Chosen Business Owners Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Reel, and today we have the pleasure of talking with Matt Smith. Matt is the founder. Yes, I'm so excited to talk with you today. He's the founder and owner of several businesses, so I'm hoping we get into a couple of them at least, but he owns Snooze Mattress Company, which is a franchise, and then he also has the largest Snap Fitness in Pueblo, Colorado, along with Wake Up Marketing. So I'm hoping we have enough time to dive into a little bit of all of these. But Matt, I'm so excited to have you here today. And I'm hoping you could just tell me a little bit about how you got started in your entrepreneurial journey and how you ended up owning all these different businesses, actually in lots of different fields too, which is pretty cool. So
yes,
turn it over to you. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I appreciate you having me on today. You're right up the street, I hear. So we got an event coming. You got to be here in a couple of weeks. It's a really big event. So
but ask about that later on. So yeah.
Yes. So anyway, my journey started, I was raised by a single mother of two boys, grew up with really no money or really no father. And I think I was determined to figure out the whole money thing and overcompensate for being the best possible father I could possibly be when I had kids someday. But but I will say that with premise that when my mom lacked in money, she just didn't know. She could care less. Money meant nothing to her. So if we were broke and getting our electricity shut off, it was like, we get paid on Friday. It's not a big deal. So she made up with love and just determination that she just didn't care about money. But I always wanted to vacation and do those things that people were doing. So, I think at an early age, I was selling bubble gum in my locker to whatever I could do, get jobs at paper outs early on, but I was really trying to figure out the whole money game and how does money work and how you can make money on money. And I started reading How to Friends and Influence Others, Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I'd read a bunch of books back in the day. I got into the mattress business somewhere around 19 years old and was recruited after selling cell phones in Walmart kiosk at ComNet Cellular. I was selling cell phones and somebody recruited me and said, "Hey, you should come sell mattresses." And I was part-time going to college, found out that college really wasn't for me, got into the mattress business, and ultimately I knew at 19 I was going to get into this commission-based industry. And I knew from 19 to 35, as long as I stayed there, that I was probably going to make around the same amount of money. So I was like, okay, how do I do something different unless I wanted to climb up this corporate ladder? But I refused to do all the traveling and just didn't want that lifestyle. So I said, at 19, 20, I bought my first house, got to figure that thing out. My mom had never owned a house. And then it's like a muscle that, we talk about in the business world all the time. I was like, oh, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. That was actually pretty cool. So then I bought another house at 20, and then I kept buying houses. And then somewhere around 25 years old, the economy had changed, 25, 26 with 2007. And I got into the franchise game, So when I was about 25 years old, 26 years old, I got into franchising. And at that point, I'd bought a lot of real estate, made some good money in real estate while I was a side hustle. I was still selling mattresses by day, all day, 12-hour days, selling mattresses and then trying to figure out life on the other side. And after I opened my first business, it was a franchise, Snap Fitness, and it started at 3,000 square foot. 5 years later, we went to 10,000 square foot. 5 years later, we went to 30,000 square foot, and we're the largest Snap in the world. But it all started just, as a little bit of a side hustle, let me figure this out. But then when I did that, it was another one of those aha moments of, that wasn't as hard as I thought. Okay, I learned that. So then you started to build confidence on yourself. You bet on yourself. If you have an opportunity, the tuxedo company came around in Pueblo. Pueblo's best carpet cleaning. I started a carpet cleaning because I couldn't get my rentals cleaned. I started a tuxedo company I bought and kept it and pushed that forward. Handyman service. I owned a spa. I owned 11 businesses at one point or 10 businesses at the same time. And it was just turned into this okay, I'm going to figure out businesses and I'm going to figure out how they're all similar and then scale. And, so after I got to the point of businesses, I also had a hard realization that, you can never be great at something if you are good at 10 things. It's just not possible. So at that point, I sold off a lot of businesses. And I also told my wife, I said, when our kids are old enough, and my son Parker was 2 years old when I retired from working for somebody else, I said, when they're old enough, I'm going to work for myself. And, long story short, my son was 2 and I retired from Denver Mattress after 18 years of being in the mattress game. And they still own a franchise and several other businesses at that time. And then fast forward another year later, I was like, you know what? I really miss the mattress game and I've really understood this franchise game. And I think this is a way to help create other entrepreneurs out there, help scale the brand, and help, really change and redefine the game of sleep and overall health. And that was our goal. It wasn't to be like, we want to be a mattress store and sell mattresses at $200 off and we could do free delivery. Like, we were in this to change the game. So we really sat out to, how do we disrupt the industry and how do we really be a very unique proposition for customers looking for a good night's sleep, but change the conversation. I believe that the society doesn't understand how important sleep is. And my goal is to change 20 million people sleeping better because of the name of snooze. And we're on a mission now. So we've scaled, from Little Pueblo, Colorado, our first location, to, we've got 15 stores up and coming right now, all over the country. So, and nurturing people every day, potential interest in different franchises. So very blessed, having fun. And, we're on a mission to really change the game of franchising and I think overall mattress purchase buying and change the mattress game a little bit, where it's not the dirty windows. It's not this is my only option. It's really trying to change the experience to the, as I call it, the wow experience. When you go home, the wow dinner table experience. When you go home, I want people, even if they didn't buy from me, I want them to go, wow, I got to tell you about this experience. These guys were in pajamas. They were dream after me with this crazy technology that's trusted by the Mayo Clinic and Ferrari. They did this pillow fitting thing. They did all this crazy stuff, but it was an amazing experience. And that was really our goal, was like, how do we change that? And then how do we make entrepreneurs, millionaires? We want to make 300 millionaires in the next 5 years is the goal. And through, entrepreneurship and giving them a system and a scale. And like you talk about franchising, I think you're buying into a system. It's not you against the world. Now it's your team against the world. So it changes the game a lot. But that's in a nutshell. That's me in a little bit of time.
It's amazing. Well, and when did you start the Snooze franchise? When did you start franchising?
I opened the business about 3.5 years ago. And then when COVID hit, I had the time to turn it into a franchise. And as you know, it's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. It was like 8 or 9 months of my life, and 3 times a week, just relentlessly figuring out, okay, we got to do this. This is the rules to this. We got to do this. And it was a lot of work. So COVID gave me that time to finish my book. I wrote a couple books during COVID. And I got my franchise done during COVID. So, so about a year and a half ago, I guess 2 years ago, we launched.
Okay. And your books, I saw you wrote both of the books during COVID?
I did. I didn't launch the second one until later. The 3 books: Authority, Serial Dadpreneur, and It's Going to Be a Great Day.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. And what are, in a nutshell, kind of what are those books about?
I would say Serial Dadpreneur, I really... It is what it sounds like, but it's cereal with a C. But it's about balance. I believe that society is so jacked up that we try to climb this ladder of promotions of this and this and this, and we forget about the most important things in our life, which is family and protecting that. But I've seen amazing fathers that gave up on their dreams because they said, I got to be a father, and I've seen amazing entrepreneurs that gave up on their family and went through 4 divorces because they decided to climb a ladder and they wanted to stand on a stage and people go, I want to be that guy when I grow up. But it was like, there's a balance if you can do it. But no matter what, protect the thing that matters most. And it is family. Everything else is just noise, and it's like really, so I wrote a book about that. The other book was my children's book, and that's probably my favorite, but that, that's my level of writing, is like children's second grade math and second grade reading. That's my level. But it's truly, that one is probably my favorite because it's just 3 premises and it's really quick. And the first premise is, today's going to be a great day. And I tell my kids every morning and they say, yes, because we're going to make it a great day, Dad. And I believe that it's the power of really being positive all day, every day. And it's the truth. We control our destiny. We make it a great day, and we could get a flat tire and a car wreck and all this stuff, but you can still make it a great day. Like, that shouldn't ruin your day. So me and my kids talk about that every day. And then the middle of the book is, we don't give up. We're Smiths, but in this game, or in the book, it's called Koala Bears. My kids are the characters, but we don't give up. So they fall off their bike. They can't do a cartwheel. There's 3 different things in 3 different times of their life, and they couldn't do it. But then they're like, we don't give up. So it teaches kids, don't give up. Whatever you're doing, finish it. And then the last premise is one of my favorites, is 3, 2, 1. And it's what we do every night with the kids. And it's, what is the 3 best things that happen today? What are the 2 things that were challenges of the day? And then what do you look forward to for tomorrow? And as parents or as husbands or as wives, I tell you, it has changed my life just asking my wife, what was your 3 best parts of the day? And asking my kids that, because I think we think, well, this is going to be it when I did this for my son. And then your son says something different. You're like, okay, that was more important to him. So it makes us understand who they are. And it takes 4 minutes a day. So the end of my book is just open to parents to ask their kids those 3 questions. So that's it.
I really like that a lot. That's really cool. So with the 300, you were talking about, you want to make 300 millionaires in the next, did you say in the next 5 years?
It's 4 years now, but yes, in 5 years is our goal. It's about 4 years left.
Got a year behind you. So is that through the mattress company or through the other businesses you want, or specifically through the mattress company?
Yeah, Snooze is it. Like Snooze is my North Star. Like Wake Up is a marketing company that was started on Undercover Billionaire. It really helps the Snooze side of it, but the sole purpose of that is really going to be marketing for the franchisees and franchise. And then Snap has just been a gym I've had for 15 years. Love it to death. It's an amazing adventure out there, but it's not mine. So it's mine, but somebody else owns the franchise. I'm the franchisee, and that's the difference. So I wanted to be able to. So we're putting all of our energy and everything to Snooze.
And so how does I heard you say about the Undercover Billionaire, you have that coming up at the end of the month, and that's with your other company, correct? With your marketing company?
Yeah. So, funny thing, right before COVID, Grant Cardone, if anybody knows who that is, TEDx Community, was dropped off into Pueblo, Colorado, and was pushed my direction because I was kind of that serial entrepreneur, the idiot that like opened a bunch of businesses, and they're like, if you want to do a business, you need to talk to that guy. But anyway, it was an honor to be on the show. It's been great for our community, but Undercover Billionaire was formed, and ultimately, fast forward 2 years, we've just met a lot of amazing connections. So we have this big event that we put on, and it's really about just meeting people and marketing with the right people. But we've got an NBA coach is going to be here. We've got, one of the best health coaches in the world. We've got some huge speakers from every industry, from if it's marketing to real estate to one of the biggest artists that paints Shaquille O'Neal's arts and Grant Cardone's art. And so we just got a lot of really cool people that are going to be here. But anybody that levels up, it's always about getting in the room, learning from other people. Like that's why you buy into a franchise. And, somebody like yourself that's like going into the franchise, somebody can start this or they can get into business with you. It's a cheat code, and the same thing with events like this. I just believe in getting in the room. There's so many people that have done what we're doing, and how do you level up through that? So we put the events on to help people level up and get like-minded entrepreneurs and like-minded, fast running people in the room.
Yeah. Well, and what is your tip to your franchisees that come in when you talk about like balance? Because like you were saying in your one book, you talk about balance and making family the priority. Do you help to teach those franchisees on that if they're why? I mean, because most people that have never been entrepreneurs and might come into the franchise world, one, don't know how to run a business, possibly. Some of them might have experience, but then to also be able to go in and have balance in that as well. So they're not losing losing all of this over here while they're trying to build the business. What's some of your biggest tips for them and that?
I mean, I think it's prioritizing. It's writing down goals and hitting targets. It's learning. In my book, I talk about bending time, and it's learning about like when can you do things like when I bend time, I could get up 2-3 hours earlier than my family sometimes. So I know I can get all this work done before they even wake up. And then maybe at lunchtime, if they're watching a movie or something on the weekends, that gives me time to go out and attack some work or something. But they don't know the difference. Like when I'm on vacation, the kids don't know that I'm working because I'm present, but I am working. I'm doing it in certain times of the day where it's not known to them. So I think that, also being an entrepreneur, it's a lonely, tough game. As you know, it is the most beautiful, rewarding thing, but it is also one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And it could be lonely. So, I think getting with teams, and that's why we sell franchises, because you're buying into a team, you're buying into 20 people that run through a wall for your success, and then connections and all of the stuff that we have out there. So, just getting as many cheat codes as you can to work smarter, because if you do this right, in the mattress business, you can get to a profitability pretty quick, and then it's a growth from there if done right. But it's still like the three things I always say that I look for in a franchisee, that I require in a franchisee, is one, you got to have grit. Grit and determination is the only way you're going to make it. Because I could sell to a rich person that just wants to do this, and it doesn't work unless you put the time and energy into it, for sure. You've got to be a good human. Like I don't want anything to do with it. And unfortunately, we've had some people in our ecosystem or in the past that just you wean them out as you see through that. Like, okay, that doesn't fit the culture. And three is you got to be a little bit coachable. Because if you're stubborn and you think you know everything, you should not buy into a franchise. because those are three key components. Everything else is you'll learn with us. Like, we have the systems, but if you're a know-it-all and you're not a good human, don't come look at snooze. I don't want anything to do with it. And grit, like, and you're still a business owner. You don't just buy and open and you expect to make millions of dollars the next week. Snap Fitness, I tell everybody, I have the largest snap in the world, but none of that had anything to do with Snap Fitness. None of it. I literally branded that thing in my community for 15 years to get it to where it's at. So not to say they didn't have great systems and a name and all that stuff, but it was me as a franchisee took it to that next level. So same thing with franchisors, but balance, making sure you protect the family.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're looking for those franchisees, do you find that they're coming, like they're people that are salespeople that are coming out of the mattress world that have already been in that, or that they're coming from corporate America, or where are your franchisees coming from?
It's a great question. It's a little bit of everything. We've got some chiropractors that own the franchise. We got business people. We have people that worked in the hospital for years. We've got a guy that owns Mako's franchises already. We've got there's just a little bit of everything. There's solar guys down there. There's some people from Silicon Valley. So I think, our industry is very rewarding and very fun. And you can make a difference in your community. And I think that's what people love about us is you literally can change humans' lives through sleep and overall health and you're having fun. We were in pajamas, we're having pillow fights in the parking lot. Like, we do fun, random things, but that's us. So, but as you know, at the beginning, it's bringing the right people and gaining that momentum. If I wanted to sell 1,000 franchises this month, I probably could, but that would be the worst possible thing I could ever do. And it's like just bringing in the right people, and being very selective of who you bring in, especially at the beginning of it.
And how are you aligning your team's plan with your leadership vision? Like, with the people that you're bringing on?
It's a great question, because it's actually something that's, I actually just started about 3 weeks ago, something that I really think is changing the way that we do business. And I recommend this for any business owner, and I recommend this for any, franchise or anything out there, is I do a weekly Friday call. And every Friday, it's just a CEO update, because we are in this building every day solving problems. I mean, I got people here that are just killing themselves for the franchisees all day, every day, but sometimes we don't communicate that. So we're solving their problem and they might be frustrated. They might see this and this is going on and I'm actually working on it. Or I told somebody and I thought that they told somebody else, or vice versa. So I think that I've learned the old, speaking to a telephone and the message gets different by the end. So it's got to come directly from me, and it means a lot to everybody else. But to me, it's like, how do I communicate my vision? Well, I have a weekly call down. You all need to get on that, because I'm fixing the challenges and I'm attacking everything, but there always is going to be new innovation, new fun and energy. There's going to be something that we're doing that's got to come from my mouth, because it's not the same message when somebody else does it. So it's been a big transformation in my own business, because as we got a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts as you build a new franchise, and there's a lot of scaling and legal stuff and all this stuff going on, that over communication is the key to it. And I thought I was doing a good job. And then the more feedback I got, I was like, this is me. Because as a visionary entrepreneur, as you probably know, you see this perfect picture that's colorful and what's happening in the 10-year and 5-year plan, but not everybody sees that. And if you can't really convey that properly without doing it yourself sometimes. So it's like, I know where I'm going and I'm always a step ahead of what's going on out there. But there's also, like, if there's challenges, we got to communicate that too. So, I mean, over communication. And, we have a daily call with all of the salespeople. So we have like a rally call every single day at 11 o'clock where all the people get on and learn how to sell and update. And so there's always stuff to sharpen your saw. But now I have a weekly, this is what we're working on to better your lives and better your community's lives.
So your daily call is with the franchisee salespeople inside their stores. And that, because do you sell mainly in stores, or are you selling online, or?
Mainly in stores, but we do sell some online. We sell to hotels, apartments, fire departments, Airbnbs, state fairs. We do a lot of stuff too.
Okay. And your competition, it sounds like you created some kind of a difference in your mattress compared to the other mattresses that you could go buy at, a big box store somewhere else.
It's a combination. So we do have all the big box. We have Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Nectar. We have all the big players. I've partnered with the biggest in the world, but then we also do make our own as well. But it's an experience, and we have every tool in your tool belt to be different than our competitors. There's no reason why you shouldn't buy from us 9 out of 10 times. We're going to be better warranty, better financing, better experience. There's just no reason why you shouldn't buy from us. But sometimes some people will, but that's okay. I mean, high tides raise all boats.
Right, right. So now, are you still doing your real estate investing, or did you get out of that completely?
I do some commercial. I want to get more into the commercial side of it, but we own several commercial properties. We're building another snooze. We're building another snooze. So we do the commercial side of it, but yeah, residential I've gotten pretty much out of, except for a couple little pieces.
Okay. And you seem very, very motivated. How do you stay motivated when you have those days where you're just like, are you kidding me right now?
I think, I think anybody out there, you got to have a routine and you got to stick to a routine. And I'll tell you, like the last probably year of my life, I take an ice bath every day, every single morning. I do some meditation. I do Wim Hof breathing, so I get oxygen to my body. But there's just certain things that I make myself do. And now I started journaling. I have coaches in my life too that are having me do journaling and having me do that stuff. And I love it though, because it's like, you got to keep sharpening your saw. You got to listen to books. You got to keep getting better at what you do. But, in my book, one of my chapters is called Positivity is a Muscle. And I believe 100% that you could throw any problem at me, Michelle, right now, and I'd smile and figure it out, because I just have built that muscle for so long that it's not like, oh my God, the sky is falling. It's like, okay, take a breath. Let's fix this. Let's go. It's a muscle that you build over time and bet on yourself. So, but I do believe a routine. Like, you've got to get a routine in. You've got to get you time in. If it's running, I run. I hate running, but I still run every day, or at least multiple times a week. I hate ice baths, but I do it every day. It's me telling my mind that we're getting in there. There's so many good side effects to ice baths beyond, but my favorite is just the mind screw. I don't want to say the F word, but the mind, you're screwing up your mind every time you jump in that ice. It's freezing and you sit there for 3 minutes long. Like, if you can get through that, there ain't nothing in that day you're not going to get through. So it is, Tony Robbins, Gary Brecka has changed my life on breathing and ice baths and stuff. So anyway, just a routine. I mean, I think you've got to get a routine, and you got to take, when it gets chaotic, just take a walk and take a couple deep breaths and get back at it. Don't ever sweep anything under the rug. You got to address and attack any problem you got. And surround yourself with the right people that push you forward, not pull you back, because I believe that that's another challenge in the world that we live in, is if you're like, I'm going to do a franchise, and you're Michelle, and then your best friend is like, that's a dumb idea. Well, like, get rid of that best friend. That's a dumb best friend. You need people in your thing that are like, I'm cheering you on. Here's some flowers. Let's go, Michelle. Let's take this to the end. And if you don't have those people, you gotta protect that. I say in the book too, is like, you drive in a bus, that's my analogy. And like, the bus is going to crash and you're going to die sometime, but you control who's on that bus. And at different points or seasons of your life, Michelle might've been great for me at this point in my life, but in 5 years, she went down a different path. She's not great. I got to get her off my bus and put somebody else on that spot. And it's life, you know what I mean? And I've been blessed to, like, every time I level up in the rooms with Grant Cardone's teams and I'm sitting around millionaires and billionaires, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, this is a different conversation to have, because I'm not there. Like, but it's great to be in that room to learn from those kind of people. So.
Well, and was there anything when you say that you just make it up in your mind that you're going to move forward and you're going to make it a great day? Was there any one thing that happened that you handled maybe in a way that you didn't want to handle it, and you said, nope, never doing that again? Or any one circumstance that made you change your mindset on that? Or was it just kind of a progression over time of?
Yeah, I think it's a muscle that was being built, like just like a bicep. I think that it was probably progression over time. I mean, I can't pinpoint an exact moment. I mean, there are some moments that I had some aha. I got stabbed when I was in high school. That was my aha moment. Like, okay, I'm not going to go down that route. I got all kinds of stories I can tell you, but there was probably some moments, but I think overall it was just, I live in chaos right now. Every day of my life is just absolutely a million things going on, and I'm really good at it, but it's taken time to be like, I don't have time to stop and think about that problem. I got all this stuff I got to do. So I'm just running. And I'm smiling the whole time, and it is what it is. Like, you don't have time to overthink things. And I think that the more momentum that you have, the more that you see that, like, okay, I take franchising so seriously that I don't sleep at night, knowing that these people have invested potentially their life savings, saying, Matt Smith, I trust you. I'm in. And they're signing a lease that potentially is $2 million, $3 million for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like it's real. And this is real pressure to get these people running the right direction. And so I definitely take it 100% seriously every single day, but it is chaos. There's always a new challenge going on. And I've never dealt with lawyers in my entire life until I've got into franchising. And I feel like I'm talking to a lawyer every day. And it's so weird, but it's what I signed up for. My franchise tells me all the time, my lawyers are like, 1, you're too darn nice. And 2, this is what you signed up for. And I'm like, all right, let's go. So it is what it is, but it's a blessing, I always tell my team here is like, how many people would die to have the problems that we have? We're pretty blessed. There are a lot of problems, but we're blessed to have them.
Sure. Well, and what would be your advice to somebody looking for a franchise? What should they be looking for? And, either your franchise or another franchise, what do you think they should be on the lookout for?
Stability. I would definitely, most important thing to me is like the old saying of find a job you love, you never work a day in your life. You got to enjoy it. Like you got to do something you want to do. You don't want to pull your teeth every day going to work and be like, I got to go make cookies today and I freaking hate cookies. Like you better go into something that you enjoy and that you can see yourself doing for a long time and that you can continue in a forward thinking company. Like I think of ourselves as probably one of the most forward thinking companies on the planet when it comes to franchising. But we're proud of that. Like that's one of our key components is how do we make sure that we make ourselves obsolete or somebody else will? And you got to be forward thinking because too many franchises, that go up, your blockbusters or whatever, and then they never recreate themselves. Like everybody's got a life cycle and you gotta fight that fight before some new shiny thing comes down the street. So definitely forward thinking and values, if I'm looking for a franchise, I want to be connected to people that are good humans. People in my life, I want good fathers. I want parents that are good people and that have done right by people. And I if I had somebody that was disrespectful, I don't want anything to do with them. And I think you should look at the other way. When you're a franchisee looking at a franchisor, you better hit their values too. So.
Yeah, for sure, most definitely. What kind of big things do you have coming? Anything big coming down the in the future that you guys are working on or anything you want to share? Or?
Oh, yeah. We got so many big things. You tell me what I want you to know. But today, we got a giant bus. You're going to see it in Springs here soon. But we got a big old bus that we're wrapping with Snooze mattress all over the side of it for big events. But we're going to be doing dog beds, custom. We have some mapping technology we're working on right now. We've got kid pillow events. We have pillow fights all over the communities in Colorado. But we have a lot of like fun things. We got a blimp that's going to be in Colorado Springs, or not, in Castle Rock in 2 weeks for our grand opening on the 21st and 22nd. So just really continue to think out. We thrive on energy. I thrive on energy. So we're always, how do we have fun, but how do we keep disrupting the funness of the community? So a lot of exciting things. We're working on private label stuff. We're working on with some big players out there, but we're working with some, already corporate places to put our franchise inside of their franchise, inside of something else. So there's just, there's a lot of fun momentum that keeps me up every single night, though. For silent sleep for a living, I don't sleep all the time because my brain's like, I got to shut that thing off. But that's meditation. That's way better. But a lot of exciting stuff. It's such a blessing. And we have, in the crazy economic times of the unknowns right now, we're running and we're having fun.
Yeah. And what states are your franchises in right now?
Utah, Arizona, Minnesota, Montana, Texas, Colorado. Working on Richmond and North Carolina should be in the next couple of days. A lot of exciting things.
So cool. So yeah, that's exciting. Are you in the Springs? Are you in Colorado Springs?
I'm in Pueblo.
No, do you have a franchise here in the Springs?
Oh yeah, we have 2. Yeah, one on Academy, one on Dublin. We have 2 stores up there. I opened those stores just to prove, like, another thing of like our game and your game is if somebody's buying into a franchise, there better be some kind of proof of concept. And I knew that I was born and raised in Pueblo. So I opened a mattress store and just knocked it out of the park the day I opened. But I built 20 years of building relationships in this community. And I was a mattress guy for 20 years in this community. So it was a cheat code a little bit. But now it was like, okay, let me do this at Colorado Springs that I know nobody, or I don't know many people down there that show that the system works. And it worked. So then I was like, okay, let's run. And so we had one on Dublin, one on Academy. He's an amazing franchisee. Been in the game for 20 years himself. He's killing it up there. Loves it. Does it for the right reasons. So yeah.
So exciting. I'm going to have to swing in there and check one out for sure. So
you need to come experience a dream mapping. Like we map your body. You lay down and you see your body on a map, and it pinpoints what kind of a mattress that your body needs to perfection, developed, trusted by the Mayo Clinic for crash test dummies and Ferrari and all these different things as well too. So it's an exclusive technology that we've got.
I love that. Okay. I'm going to definitely have to go in and check that out for sure. Because sleep is always a precious thing when you can get it, for sure. So
100%. And there's so many factors that people don't get. Like if you look at my disaster of a desk, it's like I've got melatonin here, I've got CBD, I've got eye masks, I've got sound machines, I've got smell machines, diffusers to smell lavender in your room. But there's so many layers to like they could help. I learned if I put speakers on my head and listen to the ocean, I could sleep through the night. I'm a light sleeper. As long as I don't hear any noises, I can sleep through the night. So there's little things that, I had to learn over time that we now can teach other people.
So cool. Well, so Matt, I want to really honor your time. Where can everybody find out about you? Where can they find out about Snooze and about the Undercover Billionaire and all the things you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, depending on when this podcast goes out, it's in Colorado on the 27th, 28th of April. There's only 120 tickets will be sold, so it's a small event, but most of these events, there's tens of thousands of people sitting on a stage. This is very small of an event. So you'll be able to get time with all the speakers too. And we've got some really, really amazing and exciting speakers that'll be here as well too. So, but yeah, you can find us on undercoverbillionairebootcamp.com. Matt Smith Pueblo is pretty much most of my handles on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm not really on Twitter or TikTok very much, but I probably should be. That's what Chris would tell us here. Your guy, Chris, I'm sure he's on omnipresence. I'm sure he's everywhere. But yes, you can find him on any of those channels right there. SnoozeMattressFranchise.com, SnoozeMattress.com, SnoozeSleep.com. Redefine the sleep game. That's the goal here. And if you're looking for franchising or a good night's sleep, we can ship anywhere in the country. So
that's so awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I so appreciate it.
Absolutely. Michelle, I appreciate you and good luck on this podcast adventure and keep on taking over the world with your franchise.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Have a great day.